Mathematicians, I'm going to give you an equation, and I want you to give me a thumb when you have an answer, but also when you have figured out how you solve this problem. And then you're going to share how you solve this problem with your partner, and then we're going to do a share out on different ways to solve this problem. Can you give me a thumb to your chest if you know what we're doing? See some thumbs. Let's take a second. Could you just tell your partner what we're going to do really quickly?
Think about the equation and figure out what's the answer.
What are we going to be talking about, Mona?
How we solved it.
How we solved it. After we talk about our answer, Isabel, what are we going to talk about? Do you need Muna to repeat it?
How we solved it.
Yeah, so we're going to talk strategies today. All right, so here's your equation. When you have your answer and you have your how you solved it solution, could you give me a thumb at your chest, please? Okay, I would love for you to turn and talk with your partner and tell them how you solved it.
I broke the 9 into 8 and 1, and 8 plus 8 equals 16, and then 16 plus 1 equals 17. So that's how I got my answer. Well, this is how I got it. Well, instead of 10 plus 8 is 18, but this time it's 9, so just minusing 1, so it's 17.
I heard some really interesting answers there. If you had a similar answer or connection to someone, will you let me know? So that, because we're going to look for different strategies on how to solve this. So Erica, in a loud voice, can you describe how you solved this?
First I did 8 plus 7. Then I added 2.
Well, what did you know 8 plus 7 was? I'm sorry.
Because 4 plus 4 is 8, and then I did 8 plus 7, then I got 15, and then I had 2 more, and I got 17.
So you knew that 8 plus 7 gave you 15, and then you added 2 more to 15 to get 17? So how did you know to break up the where did the 7 and the 2 come from?
7 and 2 came from
Which of these numbers?
the 8. No, the 9.
The 9. So you broke up the 9 into 8 and 7? Or, I'm sorry, 7 and 2? That's a wonderful way to solve that. Zachary, could you describe how you solved that, please?
Me and my partner solved it the same way. We guys know that 8 plus 8 is a double stack, so we know that's 16, and plus 1 is
So
7.
hold on one second. 8 plus 8 is what?
16.
16.
And plus 1 more equals 17.
So can you describe to me why you decided to plus 1 to 16? Where did that come from?
The 8 and the 1 came from the 9.
The 8 and the 1 came from 9. So you broke up the 9 into an 8 and a 1. Okay. Brain, how did you solve it?
What I did was, if you took 1 from the 8 and add it to the 9, it would equal 10, and then.
Can I show that thinking really quickly? So you took 8 plus 9. You took 1 from the 8 and put it to the 9. And then what did that give this addend here?
10.
10.
And then I added the rest, and it was.
And then what does it make this addend?
7.
7. And then you add them together and you got.
17.
Could you talk to me about why you decided to solve it that way?
It's because I.
Forgot? Can I ask that question to the whole class? Why would Rain's strategy of making this a 10 be an efficient way or an easy way for someone to solve this problem who was thinking about how to solve this problem? Abdi, can you talk about that?
Because it's efficient because if you had like there's 10 and you just add the 7 to the, you don't have to like give me more time.
Give me more time to think. I would love to give you more time to think. Anyone know why Rain's strategy of making this a 10 by taking some numbers away from here and putting them over here would be an efficient way to do that? Elias?
Because it's plus 10 it gives you to it's like you're plusing 10 and you're going higher.
You're plusing 10, you're going higher. And really quickly, I just want to show why this works. Because all of a sudden, we went from 8 to 9 to 7 plus 10. And I think that it's worth showing how Rain did that. So if you have 8 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you're adding this up, what Rain did was she just took one of these guys and moved it over here. She didn't get rid of any, she didn't add any numbers, she just moved one over here, making this a really easy landmark number. It kind of makes me think about what Muna was talking about yesterday in our number talk about breaking up numbers to make it easier number to add on when she's adding on. Did anybody solve this equation a different way? Anyone have a whole different strategy that we haven't talked about yet? Muna?
Eight plus 10 equals 18, but then it's the same thing, but then 9 is in 1, because 9 is less than 10, so 17 minus 1 equals 16. I mean 18 minus 1 equals 17.
Boy, that's interesting thinking. So you did, unlike what Rain was doing when she moved one over, you actually added an extra number, right? So you made that 9 a 10 and gave one more to this addend, and you got, what was your answer for that? You got a sum of 18. But then because you added one, what did you do then?
Minus 1.
So what would that equation look like?
18 minus 1, 17.
So I have a question for you mathematicians. Are you guys ready for a tough question?
Yeah.
All right, can you sit up so I know that you're ready for this one? Because this is going to be a tough question. We have this smart way of breaking apart the 9 into 7 and 2 and getting 17. We have this smart way of knowing I know 8 plus 8 is 16, and 8 is 1 less than 9, so I'm going to add one more and get 17. We have this smart way of making a landmark number by moving over one of these from the 8 to the second addend and getting 10 and getting a 17. And we had this really smart way of actually giving another number, but then taking it away to get the, a correct, accurate answer. But how are these strategies similar? Or which of these strategies are similar to each other?
They both have the same sums, and 2 are similar.
I can first. They all say you can go first.
2 are similar. What? Which 2 are similar? I know there's 2. The first one and the second one are similar because they're both like this. They're almost the same, but they're both breaking it apart. They're both breaking it apart. What? But they're both adding. And they're both adding, but they're both breaking apart.
They add one more to 9. But that was 15.
You had a connection?
Plus 8
Yes.
equals 16.
but with the numbers, not towers.
And I see another one. They both equal 17.
So these two use a landmark number?
The bottom ones they use a landmark number, and the top ones don't use a landmark number.
Is that similar?
No, I mean the bottom ones both have the landmark numbers, and the top
Let's
ones.
have a chat about that. Can you guys come back to me, please? 3, 2, 1. And I heard only a couple of partner groups, but it sounded like you guys had some really interesting conversations about that. I would love to hear what you're going to say. But Moon, I want to quickly get to you before you lose that thought. How are these? You were talking about how these two are similar. How are these two equations similar?
These two are similar than the other two.
These two are more similar than these two?
Yeah, because both of them have one the 8 getting called the 8 giving one more to 9.
Okay.
And then
And then what happened here?
over there she added she added one more.
And then she took it away. Elias, how was your explanation similar?
Because they're both using a landmark number, the number 10, to get to 17.
So then if they both use the landmark 10 to get to 17, are they exactly the same?
No.
So how are these two different then? If they both use a landmark 10 to get to the same sum of 17, how do these strategies, how are they different? Who haven't I heard from you? Moses?
They're similar because they both equal the same sum, and they both have landmark numbers.
I agree with you. But how are they different was what I wanted to really look at. Emma? How are they different from each other? And it's just fine to say anyone time. And I kind of put you on the spot there. Adi?
I feel Moses, I have something to add. So like for this one, Mona, she added it. She added the 9 to make a 10, and then minus it. And that one, she only.
So what did she add to the 9 to make a 10?
1.
And then she minus that 1, you're saying?
Yeah.
Where did she get that 1 from?
She got the one from the 8.
And this one she did?
No, she got so like there it was 9. So
Need more time to think. Farah?
I think she added on 1, and then she added on 1 to the 9, and then she minus that 1, and then she got 17.
Great, that's right. So she just added in a number to get to the a landmark. And then she took that number away. Why did Rain not have to take one away here? Why was there no subtraction in Rain's problem here? Zachary, how come we didn't have to do that for Rain?
Because we didn't do it for Rain because she used the 8 to make the 9 into a 10, and she had a 7 instead of an 8.
Oh, so she borrowed from this add-in. All right, you guys had a lot of good math thinking. Can you give your partner a high five next to him? Tell me they did a good job.
Ow.